Hi guys, this week we're going to be creating a drawing that was designed and created by Julianne Kunstler. It is a value drawing that focuses on capturing layers and holes with shading techniques. So we have a couple of objectives that we want to achieve when doing this work. First one, we want to learn how to better control our pressure when we're shading, to where we're able to get dark marks and light marks when we want them. We're also going to be developing a good value gradation, where we're lifting up the pressure of our pencil and we get those light values and pressing slowly harder as we go into our darker value sections. We're also going to be strengthening our shading techniques of hatching and cross hatching. And then last, you're going to learn how to manipulate value to achieve an illusion of depth on a two-dimensional surface. So for this work, we're going to be creating a 4+ layer abstract design with an illusion of depth, by applying different values. So think of 4 sheets of paper with large cutouts that you're putting down together. Now you're not drawing on 4 different sheets, you're drawing on 1 sheet, but you're creating the illusion that there would be 4 sheets on this one piece of paper. So each sheet or layer creates its own drop shadow, and each layer is slightly darker in value as you go from the top to bottom. Now the minimum requirement is 4 layers, but for every additional layer you put in, I will give you bonus points. So you guys could go up to like 12 layers if you wanted to and get how much? 8 extra bonus points for the work. So go crazy with your layers if you want. Don't try to go too many or else the work is going to look too chaotic. But I would say a max of like 12 to 15 layers could be pretty sweet and help your grades. To begin this project, you're going to need a couple different types of materials. First, you'll need an HB pencil, an 8 by 10-inch sheet of paper, and possibly an eraser in case you make any happy accidents. The best type of an eraser to use is a kneaded eraser, but if you do not have that, that is okay. If you're able to go out to a store like Walmart, if it's open during this whole COVID experience, then I would recommend doing that. But if not, then don't worry about it. A regular eraser will do fine. So let's begin making our layered shading drawing.
Begin by designing an organic shape. Organic shapes are free-flowing, curvy, and are most often found in nature. So to begin, look to things in nature for inspiration, like the shapes of clouds or the shapes of river rocks. Allow objects in nature to inspire the shape that you draw for your drawing. Once you have chosen your shape, draw 4 thumbnail sketches. Thumbnail sketches are sketches the size of your thumb that help you arrange your shape into various compositions. It's important to do thumbnail sketches because it allows you to quickly see what will and won't work for the project. Which principle of design will you focus on when composing your artwork? Asymmetrical balance, symmetrical balance, movement, or repetition? Choose a principle and let that be your guide when composing. The organic shape I chose was inspired by a bean. Once I got the shape I liked, I tried modifying the edges and drawing the shapes on angles to create a circular movement, but I ended up hating the extra bumps I added in. So for my second thumbnail sketch, I modified the initial design by getting rid of some of the bumps, but it looked too simple and movement wasn't as apparent. The third sketch, I got rid of my initial shape and found inspiration from the tangle, cockles, and muscles. I like how it created an asymmetrical design. So I modified that for my fourth sketch, which ended up being my favorite. So if you find creating composition to be difficult, I recommend taking this final approach. Draw 3 lines at various angles which cross over each other, and then draw organic shapes that follow the contour of the shapes created by the crossing lines. You must complete and submit 4 thumbnail sketches for me to offer feedback before beginning the project. A poor foundation and messy composition makes for a chaotic and unsuccessful looking artwork. And here is a perfect example of how your first idea is never truly your best. Keep working until you get the best idea that you have. Once you've drawn your 4 thumbnail sketches, you will need to label each composition the principle of design that you are trying to depict, and then place a star next to your favorite one. One thing I forgot to mention, and it is imperative whenever you're designing your sketches, is that you need to leave very little space in between the shapes. Once your thumbnail sketch has been approved, you can begin sketching out your favorite and most successful composition. Map it out the same way you made your thumbnail sketch. I'm drawing the 3 lines in the same spots with the organic shapes drawn in between the angled lines. Make sure the space between the shapes is very small and draw on an 8-inch by 10-inch piece of paper. The next step is to shade inside each shape with hatching. Start at the edge, incorporating the outline into the shading. The value should be drawn in from dark at the edge to mid-value to light gray. The shading should show gradation, meaning there should be a smooth transition from dark to light. You achieve this by pressing harder in the dark value section and pressing lighter with the pencil as you shade into the lighter values. To prevent smudging, place a second sheet of paper underneath your hand while you shade. The transition from dark to light should be between 1/2 of an inch to an inch. Lift up your pencil after each hatching line you draw. Don't scribble back and forth. You're not making one continuous line. You're making several tiny little lines. You're trying to also create a drop shadow effect with this top layer of shading. So take your time. This step of the shading may take you up to an hour to complete. It may even take you longer, so don't rush it. To complete the first part of this project, you must shade in each shape. I'm not only grading you on your hatching and gradation, but also your craftsmanship. Craftsmanship refers to the quality of finished work. If your work has high craftsmanship, then the work is going to be clean with no smudges and demonstrates a high level of skill and patience used to complete the work. Rushed projects end up with low craftsmanship grade that ultimately affects the other graded sections. So to help make this step of this drawing as clean as possible, take an eraser and very carefully erase away the space in between the shapes. I like to use a kneaded eraser because it doesn't leave any tidbits behind. It absorbs the graphite. If you do not have a kneaded eraser, you can use any eraser you have at your home. Just be careful that when you wipe away those little tidbits that are left behind, you do not drag your finger over top of the shaded area. This creates immense amount of smudging and will ultimately affect your craftsmanship grade. Take your time and give yourself the time to complete this first part of the project to a high level of craftsmanship. Good luck and have fun!